this is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report. What else is new? Jesus. January 10th, 2018. And I got to get a shot of these cathedral trees here. I mean, they are like guardians, guarding the threshold. Mars and Jupiter in Scorpio, that water flowing through the threshold. I don't know how I'm going to pull this report off, because I was going to walk down this creek, but I don't have my stable cam with me today. But I had to get the picture of that tree at the beginning of the report, because it is so Lilith and so beautiful and so pertinent and reflective of this time. Let's not forget previous Pele reports, okay? Cutting the cords of the past. Scorpio, the sign of death. I mean, check out this tree. Is that not Lilith? Oh my goodness. Here she is. And then the new tree growing right out from behind it, right out from under it. And of course the water going under it, washing the past away. Oh yeah. Moon is in Scorpio right now, coming up to, conjoin with Mars. Yeah? Tomorrow, Moon conjuncts Jupiter and Mars in its sextiles, that Sun, Venus, Pluto that is like still going on, and you may be feeling it, and I was talking about it last week, but wow. And that's the thing now, this Pele report comes out on Wednesday, but like I said, last week I think, this Venus, Sun, Pluto, just happened Monday and yesterday and still going on today. And I'm going to be talking today about the new moon, but that new moon is not until next Tuesday. So maybe you should just hold off, listen to this report over the weekend or something if it doesn't relate to where you're at right now. But, basically, it's got to relate to what's going on now, because what? Well, Mercury goes into Capricorn tomorrow, Thursday, okay? And that puts, by Monday, we've got Venus, Sun, Pluto, Moon, Black Moon Lilith, Saturn, and Mercury all in the sign of Capricorn. We've got the new moon happening here in Capricorn, and that is like a birth chart. The new moon is like a birth chart for the lunar month ahead. And it kind of sets the tone for this whole month. So while we, maybe not feeling it right away, we're going to be feeling this Capricorn energy throughout the entire month, yeah, coming up here. And of course, I'll talk about it more when I look into the camera, but the sun is also, this new moon also is square Uranus. Uranus in Aries squaring the new moon and Venus in Capricorn. Okay, so Venus is actually exactly square Uranus on Saturday, the same day that Mercury conjuncts with Saturn. Saturn being the past, Mercury being our thinking, okay, right? And consolidation and reflection, sometimes called depression. At the same time that Venus is squaring Uranus, which is like new, the future, okay, and Venus, love and that beautiful heart energy. God, look at that beautiful tree going right down to the, maybe I'll sit down over there and look at the camera and talk to you about all these aspects instead of just going on with the astrology. All right, everybody. What do I want to talk about today? Well, I just took a picture of this tree growing out of the rock, right by the water. And I guess I can start with just this whole time period now of all this earth and water, oh my goddess, I'm fire and air myself, and all of you fire and air people have got to be feeling very similar, okay? Like, who threw the blanket or the shovels full of dirt on the frickin' fire, man? It is heavy. The fire and air wants freedom and space and light and whew, excarnation, baby. And here we've got this underworld, you know, Pluto, Saturn, Capricorn, Scorpio going heavy. I mean, these are heavy times. So, you know, it's all part of the cycle. And of course, what I love about astrology is that you can look forward to see when in the hell it's going to stop. You know, and it's not for a while. Sorry, man. I mean, the Sun and Venus, they do go next week into Aquarius. Hallelujah. Okay, it's going to, you know, lighten up a little bit. Mars doesn't go, you know, into Sag, which is really going to lighten things up until the 27th. Okay? And so, you know, we are going to kind of like emerge, okay, you know, out of this death rebirth process. But it's taken a long time, isn't it? I mean, ouch. And of course, you know, there's a lot of things to talk about here because, you know, part of loss, letting go, cutting the cords, you know, releasing the past, it hurts. We've got emotional attachments, okay, you know, even Capricorn Cancer axis, you know, is looking for security, okay, and there's no security in and I got to put it in quotes, loss, because loss is a ego definition of change, okay? And I think I've talked about this before. You know, the seasons change and everything changes and everything moves on. We identify, okay, oh, this, you know, this was here and now it's over there, so I'm going to say that's a loss, okay? You know, this was under my control and I can no longer control it. So I feel a loss of control. I would say, you know, really, when we look at loss and gain, it's probably having to do with our control of ourselves, of our relationship, of money, of power, of whatever. It's about control. And, you know, Capricorn and Saturn is all about control, too. And it's about law and authority. And, you know, it was when the nodes of Uranus were last in the sign of Capricorn that the patriarchy was birthed 6,500 years ago. And we're now experiencing, you know, the end and the fall, the release, the letting go. And so there is still, it's like the last ditch efforts now, okay? There's like panic happening on many levels, okay, in this human condition here, not just in your personal life, okay, but political, governmental, military, whatever, you know, where there is just like, this is like we're losing control, so we're going to clutch and cling and hold on even tighter, harder, more, and this just makes it more painful. Yeah? So anyway, with this loss, there is the natural process, just because we're human, okay? I'm going to get into that. We're not only human, okay? We are infinite spiritual beings having a human, physical, animal, material body experience on this planet. But Capricorn and Saturn is an earth sign. Saturn has to do with the laws that govern this material existence, okay? And so there is also what? Grief. Grief is a natural human experience whenever there is loss. So a lot of us can also be feeling grief. I know I'm going through a lot of grief. Grief has to do with the lungs. I got this cough that, like, you know, is hanging in there longer than I would like to see, right? And there is this, you know, so there is this time period now. And this, you know, this grief brings us into our heart space. It brings us into our Cancer element. And we want to talk about this, but I want to do a little more with Capricorn and Saturn before I talk about balancing it with the polarity of Cancer, which is water, which is personal. And just like this tree here is growing right out of a rock, you know, we as beautiful, loving beings, okay, emerge up towards the sunlight like a tree. Lilith lives in the trunk of a tree. Yeah, she is this trunk. She is this Shushumna that takes this water and reaches towards the air and the light and the sun. So, you know, this process, you know, is one of alchemical transformation through death and resurrection, which is what this year of 2018 is all about. And so I really want to, you know, bring forward this square to Uranus in Aries, because like I said, this whole month, okay, is not just all of this Capricorn, but it's square Uranus, Uranus I like to say. And here we get into this dimension that is beyond time and space. Saturn is the last visible planet. After that is Chiron, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, the unconscious, the collective unconscious, the soul, the spirit, the healing element. So Saturn is this human experience, this ego experience that lives in separation, and it needs to control and needs to own and needs to like really, you know, be secure here in this element. And the more we identify with the ego and our bodies and this earth and our money and all of this stuff down here, the more we experience, yeah, you know, the agony and the grief when it moves away. The more that we identify ourselves with this infinite, multi-dimensional spiritual existence, Uranus rules our individual unconscious, and that individual unconscious holds within it our entire past and our entire future. So I gotta read, you know, the Sabian symbol for this Uranus, okay, in Aries. Very powerful now. It's on the same degree for quite some time, and it is the 23rd degree of Aries. Yeah? No, it's not. Sorry about that. It's the 25th degree of Aries. It's at 24 degrees some odd minutes, yeah? And you always go forward when you use the Sabian symbols. Check this out. Could not be more appropriate for this time period, yeah? The possibility for humanity to gain experience at 2 levels of being. The revelation of new possibilities. In some unspecified way, the symbol is a guarantee that we can operate successfully at 2 levels of consciousness if we have met the condition mentioned in the previous symbol. I'm not going to read that. Be open. An open window. The previous symbol is an open window. Okay. Be able and willing to shape your translucent mind to experience life and power on inner as well as outer planes. The implied message is one of faith. We can only truly experience what we deeply believe we can experience. What are these 2 levels of being? Spirit and matter. The combining of the 2. And where our identity lies is in that we are both. Yes, we are sexual, sensuous, deep, dark, physical beings, animals in this realm, stalking the earth. And we are the most delicate, refined, light beings of the angelic realm that we could ever possibly imagine. And we balance these two. Right now there is a heavy focus, okay, on this physical material world. And this brings me to my mantra, yeah? And this mantra is, you know, it's so Saturn, it's so Capricorn, but let's really look at it, okay? Because it involves something else. If I'm going to make a change, I commit to something new. And with self-control and discipline, I do what I have to do. This is taking faith, our vision, our infinite possibility, and bringing it down here into this realm. This is the north node of the moon, okay, in the sign of Leo, of creation. And I thought of something very interesting because I was, you know, I'm doing this Saturn course, and I watched this video yesterday by Jules, head of the CIA down there, and she talked about, you know, how Saturn ate his children, right? and this is so powerful because in a way the establishment, the patriarchy, is afraid of the future, is afraid of the new creation, is afraid of losing control, is afraid of being overthrown. It didn't work. I mean, Jupiter, you know, overthrew his father Saturn, okay? That's a whole nother mythology's, you know, story. But Saturn tried his damnedest, okay, to stay in control, and still he lost it, yeah? And so there is this, what I can say is the Pluto polarity point, the Saturn polarity point. What we need to balance with all of this Capricorn energy going on now is Cancer. And this is coming into my emotional body, my intuitive self, and tapping into what Gaia is seeking, what Lilith is seeking, what our emotional intrinsic nature as a unique baby in this creation is really wanting to bring forward. And this is becoming the author of our own lives. This is really coming into our own authority. And this allows us to make the change. Otherwise, you can see where it's led us. Old Capricorn without Cancer has led to cold-hearted. Okay, just think of the mountain goat. I mean, I've climbed Mount Shasta a couple times, man. It is very cold up there. The air gets very thin. There's a lot of snow and ice. In the old books, Capricorn is barren. It's a barren sign. We have fruitful and barren signs, yeah? And we can create, if we don't have Cancer, if we don't have our heart, if we don't have our feeling, if we don't have our, you know, our blood and guts involved, we can create institutions and governments and rules and laws and religions that are cold, that are black and white, good and evil, heaven and hell, and you are going to, you know, you sin, you miss the mark, you shoot your arrow and miss the mark. Sin is just an error. You make an error and you are forever eternally damned. I mean, this is like frickin' cold. Cancer, the moon, the mother, warms it up. So when we make our commitments, the beautiful part about this Saturn is breaking out, okay, of cold dogma, doctrine, rules, and laws, coming into the juiciness, the lusciousness, okay, of our individual internal spiritual experience, and committing to ourselves, committing to being free, committing to making the change. And this is where it takes time and commitment to our truth, to our freedom, to our creative capacity, to our, what we have envisioned. The South Node is in Aquarius. We have all envisioned this, okay? And we've got Mars and Jupiter. They're going to be moving into Sagittarius, and it's going to really open up new vistas and new horizons. So we want to just like be, you know, in this time period now of determination. The positive expression of this time is having patience with ourselves, sticking with having our faith, having our vision, and whatever it takes, whatever needs to fall away, the snake shedding its skin, okay, we need to like hold to that vision of the future, hold to what can be and what we can create. So this is the commitment. The commitment is not to something external or to some law or to some, you know, old belief or doctrine, but to really change these commitments, to change these contracts with the fluidity of water, to bring in the new paradigm, the new Aquarius, the new future that is coming as the Sun and Venus move into Aquarius. 2023, 2024, Pluto moves into Aquarius. The precession of the equinoxes, we're birthing the 2,000-year age of Aquarius. And Aquarius is a very enlightened, liberated, free expression of spirit. So let's hold to that faith, hold to that vision, bring that vision down through our bodies, through our actions, through our daily routines. And this is what's really going to empower us to do what we have to do. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it feels, okay, scary. Sometimes it involves letting go, which creates grief or sorrow. We want to feel our grief, feel our sorrow, feel our humanity, and keep growing. Keep going. Like that tree out of the rock. So, if I'm going to make the change, I commit to something new and use self-control and discipline to do what I have to do. May you sit still, receive, listen for the guidance, and do what you need to do to create that vision here, now, on Earth, and in your future self-expression. Yeah, baby. Oh my God. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.